All right, I'm going to say something bold here. Most business owners only use about 40% of the tax write-offs available to them. And honestly, that's probably being generous. There are 5 levels of tax strategy, and most people stop at level 2. But the biggest savings, of course, they're hiding in levels 4 and 5. Even high-earning W-2 employees only have access to maybe 4 levels max. But the moment you started that business, you unlocked the full game. You get access to write-offs, entity structures, and the wealth strategies that simply aren't available to the everyday W-2 employee. It's one of the biggest rewards of being an entrepreneur, of taking that risk. And the tax code is literally designed to support that. And don't worry if you're feeling overwhelmed by tax stuff. I'm going to break it down super simple. So, whether you started your business last month or you've been at it for a few years, there's something valuable here for you. Think of it as a roadmap you can follow as your business continues to grow and scale. Okay, so these are the 5 levels of tax write-offs. Think of it like a video game. Each level unlocks bigger savings, more strategy, and a few bosses you have to defeat along the way. All joking aside, most people, they're stuck playing the tutorial, right? I remember when I first started my business, tax time would roll around and I'd be scrambling through a shoebox full of receipts, just wondering what I could actually write off. In fact, my first accountant, I just found the guy locally online. He actually laughed at me when I showed up to do my taxes with that shoebox. And not laughing with me, laughing at me. Of course, that feeling stuck with me. And that's, one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about making this stuff accessible now. So let's get into it. Level 1 is your basic stuff, right? Office supplies, internet, cell phones, software subscriptions. You've got a business checking account and a spreadsheet. Congrats. You're at level 1. But that is just the starting point. This is like learning to crawl in the tax world. The cool thing about level 1, it applies to everyone with a business. Whether you're just starting your side hustle or running a multi-million-dollar operation, these fundamentals, they're always going to matter. I mean, I still track all my office supplies, and my business has been profitable for years. So let me just show you what this looks like in practice for me. You see that cool background behind me? These fancy lights. This custom cut glass for my desk here, all level 1 write-offs. I mean, even the coffee I was drinking right before I started filming this. Yeah, that's deductible too when I'm at the office here at the studio and when I'm doing work. Okay, here's another example. Some of you remember my great friend Adam. He's one of my favorite creators, art teacher, puppeteer, just a wildly creative soul. Adam made YouTube videos too. He shot on evenings, at night, on the weekends, always editing something. I remember he said to me one time, I write off all my recording gear. So I'm at like level 10, right? And I just remember I was like, my guy, that's level 2 maybe. You see, Adam was that perfect mix of talent and heart. And even when we were talking business, he just brought this like joy and curiosity that reminded me why I love teaching all this stuff. So let's move on to level 2, and that's where most folks think they're crushing it, but they're leaving thousands on the table. Okay, we're talking mileage logs, travel deductions, meals with clients. Back in March, actually, I did a deep dive on business travel. If you're going to a conference, meeting a client, scouting a job site, that can all be deductible. Even business meals, 50% write-off if it's actually business related. Oh, and even better, track that mileage. At the time of this recording, it's 70 cents per mile, and that adds up fast. But still, if you're only doing levels 1 and 2, you're basically playing checkers while the pros are playing 4D chess on a whole other board. You see, level 3 is where things get interesting. This is where you start seeing write-offs that most people don't even know exist. We're talking about home office deductions, depreciation on assets, hiring your kids or spouse to work in the business. Despite some like old school ways of thinking, a home office deduction isn't a myth. If you have a dedicated space you use regularly and exclusively for work, you can deduct a portion of your rent, utilities, even repairs. And hiring family, that's one of my most popular videos right now. It's all about how to hire them and pay them a fair wage and do it right so that it's also a deduction for your business while getting them involved. And it's all legal, it's smart, it's level 3 thinking here. And this is the level where you start realizing, oh wait, I'm not just a business owner, I'm kind of like the CFO CFO of my own life. And guess what? Even if your business is still small, just understanding what's possible with these level 3 strategies, it helps prepare you for growth when you're ready. It's like unlocking abilities in a game that you might not even use immediately, but you'll be ready when the time comes. Level 4 is where the game changes completely. We're talking entity strategy. Think LLC versus S Corp. We're talking sole prop versus electing to be taxed as an S corporation. So that means payroll setup and a reasonable salary plus distributions. And I know all those terms might sound intimidating. You're like, what is he talking about? But I promise they're not as scary as they seem. I'm gonna break them down super simple here because understanding this level alone could save you thousands. Take Mike, for example. He's a contractor. A few years back, he was making 6 figures, but paying taxes like a W-2 employee. We met, and he finally set up that S Corp. He put himself on payroll. And now he's taken part of his income, yes, as payroll, but also part of it is distributions that aren't subject to self-employment tax. I remember when we were first talking about this, he's like, wait, that's allowed? And I'm like, yup, as long as you pay yourself a reasonable salary. So for you out there, if you're netting more than, let's just say $60K a year, and you're still a sole proprietorship, it might be time to level up. And this is truly that part of the game where you get your first real power up. And that's because level 5 is for the pros, the best of the best. This is where you go from saving potentially thousands to saving tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands every single year. We're talking about things like the R&D tax credit, 179D, 45L energy credits, cost segregation on real estate, and more advanced trust strategies like the OCLAD and OGTs. Remember Greg, my real estate buddy? He bought that, I think it was a 10-unit building. It might have been 12, but we did the cost segregation study for him to help accelerate that depreciation. That year he wiped out a ton of his taxable income and he pocketed, I think it was close to 6 figures in savings when it was all said and done for all his properties. Even Dan, that restaurant owner, when he heard things like that, he says like, hey Rich, that feels like cheating. And I'm like, no, it's just knowing the rules. And that's what level 5 is all about, knowing the rules and then using them. Here's how it usually breaks down, by the way, for income if you're kind of stuck thinking like, where do I fall? For my business owners out there, just starting out at level 1, that's from not even being profitable yet, like making 0 to, let's say, 20K a year. Level 2 is kind of like 20K to 50K. And then we start to see that level 3 strategy when it makes sense for your business, just over 50K all the way up to say 100K. And then level 4 is where things start to get interesting. We're talking earning 100K to 250K per year. And then level 5 usually ends up happening when you start making about 250K and up per year. But I want to remind everybody out there, like, this isn't just about income. It's about mindset and planning and asking the right questions before your tax season, before taxes are due. Despite it feeling like this sometimes, the tax code wasn't written to punish business owners. It was written to incentivize the behaviors the government wants to see. We're talking about hiring people, creating housing, investing in innovation. They reward all of that. So if you're still doing level 1 and level 2 stuff while others are operating at level 5, it's not because they're cheating, it's because they've unlocked the full map. And yes, you can too. You can implement these strategies no matter where you are in your business journey, but make sure you master those basics first. Keep this framework we're going over in mind as you grow so you know when to take the next step, when to level up. Think about it. Every dollar you save in taxes is a dollar you can reinvest in your business. Or if you want, put towards that vacation you've been dreaming about with your family. Or even stash some away for 20, 30 years in the future to build that generational wealth. This isn't just about paying less in taxes. It's about creating the freedom to live the life you actually want. I remember, when I first discovered those level 4 strategies, I was sitting with my accountant, Jeff, and he showed me how much I'd save with an S Corp conversion. We elected that. My jaw dropped. The money funded our family trip the following year. And please don't let tax pros tell you that this stuff is too complicated for the average business owner. I call BS on that. You're smart enough to understand this. You just need someone to break it down in plain English without the confusing accounting and IRS language. That's what today's video is about. Teaching you this stuff so you can make informed decisions about your tax strategy no matter what stage your business is in. So here's my question for you. What level are you playing at? If you're not sure, I made a free write-off checklist you can download. It walks you through each level with real examples, tools I use, and honestly some tips for leveling up. I invite you to download it for free, link down below in the description. It might save you thousands. Also, please drop a comment telling me what level you're currently on. I read every single one. I might even feature, your story, your comment in a future video. And if you're looking to move up to level 4 or 5, I've got strategy guides linked down below for R&D credits, energy incentives for real estate, and that advanced trust planning as well. Tax planning and strategies like these aren't cheating. It's playing offense. It's playing to win. When you chose to start a business, you didn't just become your own boss, you unlocked access to strategies that most people will never get. I'm here to encourage you to use them. That's the reward for taking the risk, and it's time to level up when you're ready.